entertainment is in a strange place. G, the bubble has been cracking. We've been watching NBA, both WNBA and in the NBA games.
Hmm.
Um, I I can't say that I didn't miss it. Happy it's back. Um, it's an adjustment though as a viewer. It's an adjustment. The games feel a little different, feel a little bit more distant. But maybe that's just getting familiar again. Maybe it's just been a long time. But something feels different. Um, and granted,
With
these are
that,
tune up games and shit too. So maybe like it's just gonna take a minute for them to get back in sync, and then maybe as a viewer and a consumer, I'm gonna need to get back in rhythm too. But even with that, like the long moments of bad basketball, I was still happy to be watching basketball as a whole. So it was like,
no, definitely, it was short based.
yeah. How do you what do you feel about them piping in the noise and then the fans? Like, I don't know. It's a many thing. It's like some fucking Black Mirror shit, bro.
Say it
It's
again,
it's
bro.
creepy.
Bro, that episode where they do like the talent show, and then you got the crowd at their computers, but they are like virtual into the building, and they make the noise for the performer on the stage. Bro,
Man,
we that shit has arrived,
it is
and
here.
that's what we got. Hey, COVID and brought all that stuff in, so we about to really see what's about to go down. But I'm not mad at the idea. I do hope that one day we get back to being in these damn arenas, but um, hey, if they can, I would like to see like what the the cost of all that stuff will end up being.
Well, if they are able to break even or even profit even a little bit,
Hmm.
I imagine there's got to be something in place that allows them to profit. What people slept on in the decision whether they were going to resume and go back or if the players were going to protest was how much money the players were leaving on the line and renegotiating for the CBA and all that shit. That was on the table this year,
Yeah,
and it would have been stupid amounts of money to leave on the table, and a lot of the economical arguments were that exactly of like how much uh, of black wealth specifically is generated through the lens of sports entertainment, but specifically basketball, and communities um, how many communities are dependent upon the sole ownership of a Dame Lillard or a LeBron James. Like it gets tricky. It gets really really tricky.
exactly.
Um,
Exactly. Even in a CBA, we're not talking about like the cream of the crop. This was something that was for how it trickles down to the rest of the group. Because
mhm.
if you lower that minimum, you know what I'm saying, you just that's not going in the right direction whatsoever. And
Facts.
if you got people at the top making that type of decision, like that type of move, that's why it's so important that we still had a LeBron James in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
he held steady throughout this entire quarantine
Yeah.
on when it's safe to do this thing again, we're doing it.
Yeah.
And there was no shifting that
At,
narrative
at
whatsoever.
all. At all.
And I'm gonna get this shit off about all these things, all these movements and everything that we want to talk about. We'll get that stuff done when the microscope is back on us.
When the
But
lights,
we gonna get
the
to that
con-
point.
the conversations won't change, and I think that's also we got here. Damn, that was when we were sitting down watching the game on Friday night, and they had the panel of Draymond. I believe it was Draymond, Jamel Hill, maybe Jalen, but there was four panelists for sure. But the irony, and I want to send a big salute to Jamel. Her and her business partner have started a production company, and they're making all kinds of amazing stuff. Salute to Bill. I give Bill Simmons a hard fucking time, but salute to him and the Ringer for giving Jamel a platform. Undisputed, like Jamel's been grinding, but the irony that Jamel Hill, not her and Michael Smith, the first time Sports Center primetime was black, but both hosts were black. Um, and Jamel chose to stand and speak out against 45 and the divisiveness the country, especially during the kneeling, and she was essentially they essentially parted ways on that, and for it to loop back around. and for the likes of ESPN, the likes of Fox, CNN, you name it, all these companies to now have to be in the business of talking about black issues and social injustice.
Bro,
And
baseball was kneeling, bro. There was white people turned over in their grave.
man, and it just
That is America's pastime, boy. Don't you can't kneel in that. Yeah,
G,
they was getting that shit down.
but when you play with somebody's money and their livelihood and their ability to earn the way they did with Jamel, and Jamel was fine. She was gonna bounce back regardless. I was just happy as a fan of hers, like her from her writing, her perspectives, her clarity, what she represents for us as Black people. Like I'm just a big ass fan of Jamel, and have been since her early days of Around the Horn and Cold Pizza and all that shit. But um, to see her be vindicated for her stance and to stand for her. If not, I don't even know if Jamel would classify it as standing for her people as much as she would just like standing up for herself. And I think that is an important thing for us, where we get in these spaces and whether they're oblivious to it, some of the requests and some of the limitations that happens in corporate America and how they marginalize us specifically, they're oblivious to. And we're faced with these moments time and time again where we got to make these decisions that can impact our ability to earn through and through our livelihood, and we got to speak up and stand for some shit, bro. And you risk losing everything. You risk losing everything you've worked for and getting back and having to figure it out. Luckily, things have changed, and there's people in positions of power to help with that shit. And so that's why I say, for all the shit I give Bill, salute to him and everybody at the Ringer for supporting Jamel Undisputed. Like, she was able to finesse and go figure out other ways to figure this shit out while ESPN was on their bullshit, and now they've tried to double back and act like they've been for the cause. Man, please. Um, that simple as that. So salute to Jamel. But you had another point about the NBA um, with the teams, the bad teams sitting out another year.
Yeah, that just came to me watching these scrimmage games because
Uh,
even though like there was still rest on the table, uh, just watching some, I was like, this is all the playoff team vying for a playoff spot for their check still, and the competition level that I was seeing made me feel like, and putting like basically the best players on those teams, like
mm-hmm.
the competition level made it seem as if for those teams that are trying to do like we gonna wait and try to get these draft picks, and we gonna forfeit years, and
Yeah.
just like we gonna play this terrible ass basketball. We gonna have these youngsters and we gonna put them through the ringer like how they was doing with Chicago, just wasting on their damn talent with
Mm-hmm.
that coach being a drill sergeant. Bro, you should be able to deduct a team for that shit. Like
Yeah.
y'all don't get to play next year with that bullshit. You know what I mean? Like you ain't about to waste our airtime. Like,
Yeah.
so if y'all want to play, then y'all gonna be competitive, and y'all gonna figure out the best way to put the coaching staffs in there, the executive teams in
It
there.
holds the owner more accountable, I think, because
Exactly,
yeah, yeah,
exactly. That's specifically for like New York. I know New York just
yes,
got
specific,
Thibodeau, so that's important. But if
specifically
you
for
want to
New
put
York though.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you want to put New York back on, if you want New York to be back in the spotlight, then hold the niggas accountable and sit their ass out if they ain't playing.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not mad at
Damn,
that. I'm not
as
mad at having 22 teams for the entire year.
of
Fuck that.
great 22 teams of great basketball.
Yeah, the people that want to play. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that's fucking
And if they got to subsidize the money somehow, like if you got to figure out how to, I don't know if they get like half they check, or if they if they got to do a plan, do their own little league like a G League, then
yeah,
it is what it is. But y'all got to figure it out down there.
yeah.
See,
Nah,
see y'all ready to come up here?
that's I don't know. It's radical. It's brilliant, and
Hella
it does
radical.
completely refaces the league and the way we think about it.
Cause that sounds so much better than that fucking middle of the year
Playing
tournament.
tournament. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, what? That
If
ain't
you
about to make
track,
people play any harder. I'm already getting paid. Try to tell me get an extra 100,000 in the middle of the year, bro.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
got a
good. That's good for
random
a few people.
I got a random question for you guys about how you said they're gonna put like the fan noise in there?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Is it supposed to be like live? fans, or just like a recording of old games?
So what we and Poe brought this up that we were watching it the other night. He was like, I was like, damn, it sounded like it. Or no, maybe I didn't even say that. He was like, you don't hear the fans? And I was like, nigga, ain't no fans there. He's like, I know, they piping in the noise. And I was like, oh shit. It's so synonymous with watching basketball. It's almost like white noise. Like, it's like I didn't even realize what was happening. We turned on the game. The noise was there, and it just was like, oh, this is how you're supposed to watch it anyway. I never even considered that was just piping in the noise. And then it made me think like, yo, have they always been piping in noise? Was that legal? Like, how does that work? And then the very next day, the report came out that they're going to allow fans. They got these crazy screens on the side of the floor where the fans are going to be able to tune in on some Zoom shit and be able to watch courtside, essentially. It's like, okay, well, we ain't nobody ever going back to the arena, nigga. If I could just turn on my Zoom and watch it, like, how's it?
And just pay a fee, a fee.
I imagine so.
I think it's like a subscription.
Oh, they're geniuses.
Oh, the NBA
they're
TV
geniuses.
Oh, bet I'm lit then. I can watch it. I paid for that bullshit just so I could watch Ja Morant this year. Like that, literally, that's the only reason I got it.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting, like how they do it though, because I know it'll probably be like how they do it for NBA TV, where you can just follow one team, or you can have like a group of teams, or if you want to do the whole NBA, and that'll be like your different subscription services. But it'll be interesting to see the amount of stream power, because you have to have a crazy amount of bandwidth for all those fucking people.
And that's what I was thinking about.
So we might be onto something. So we gave the church free game with the OnlyFans, now the NBA following. Y'all welcome.
I know, right?
We just let them have 1 million court floor seats now.
You feel me? Yeah, no, seriously, like 100,000 was the cap. Now you can get 1 million. Like,
That's that down. That's that down.